evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, more consultations on ending terrorism as President Muhammadu Buhari leaves for India on Tuesday to continue talks on how to defeat Boko Haram. Nigerian military beefs up security around Mubi in Adamawa State as 4 suicide bombers die in the process of detonating improvised explosive devices in Maiduguri. Key players in the River State's political theatre strategize to resume campaigns ahead of the rescheduled governorship election in the state. And Tanzania records unprecedented high turnout in the general elections. President Muhammadu Buhari will be traveling to India on Tuesday to participate in the 3rd summit of the India-Africa Forum scheduled to hold in the city of New Delhi. It is likely the president will play up discussions on the insurgency in the northeast of Nigeria. President Buhari will hold bilateral talks with the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, and other senior government officials, after which he will meet with business executives of Indian companies with existing or prospective interests in Nigeria. According to the presidency, the president will be accompanied by the governors of Kano and Delta states, the National Security Advisor, and the permanent secretaries in the Ministries of Defense, Power, Communications, Technology, Agriculture, Foreign Affairs, Industry, Trade, and Investment. Issues expected to be deliberated on at the 3rd Indian-African Summit are those of common concern to the countries, such as climate change and international terrorism. They're also expected to discuss additional measures aimed at boosting joint collaboration to accelerate the pace of socio-economic development in Africa and in India, as well as further cooperation for the alleviation of poverty and the eradication of hunger, disease, and illiteracy. President Buhari is scheduled to return to Abuja on Friday. The plan by 4 suicide bombers to hit a target today failed in Maiduguri, as instead the bomb went off, killing all 4 of them. A target, according to NEMA, is a military checkpoint at the city center in Maiduguri. But the terrorists barely reached the point before they ended their own lives. After news of this botched attack filtered into town, the Borno State Governor, Kashim Shettima, summoned a meeting of some prominent community leaders and emirs on how to end insurgency in the state. Maiduguri has been under serious attacks from terrorists in the last 2 weeks. On Friday, 2 female suicide bombers attacked a mosque, killing 6 people. Also on Friday, a bomber ran into a mosque in Yola, Adamawa State, killing 16 people. In all, 22 people were killed in one day in the northeast. A board of inquiry has been set up by the Chief of Army Staff to investigate the alleged involvement of officers and soldiers in partisan politics, especially during the 2015 elections. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, disclosed this when he met with officers of the 1 Division of the Nigerian Army in Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria. He confirmed that the board will probe allegations of unprofessional and unethical conduct during and after elections, especially the relationship of some army personnel with the political class.
Officers and men of the 1st Mechanized Division of the Nigerian Army. The formation covers the northwestern states of Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Jigawa, Zamfara, and Sokoto. They are meeting with Army Chief Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai to discuss operational procedure in the units and formations, as well as the needs of the soldiers. The need to collaborate with other security agencies in the fight against the insurgency and other related crimes across the country is also emphasized. The Army boss charges the officers to maintain professionalism and show exemplary leadership to the soldiers.
Our mandate is not only limited to the fight and defeat of the Boko Haram terrorists, it also involves us in providing or facilitating humanitarian support to the internally displaced persons, and indeed recovery of those citizens that are trapped within the areas that the terrorists have been operating. In addition to that mandate, we are also expected to facilitate the return of normalcy, the return of civil administration in those areas.
General Buratai also confirms the setting up of a panel to investigate the involvement of some officers and soldiers in unprofessional conduct during the 2015 elections.
Our officers and men that ventured, unfortunately, into the murky waters of politics. This will be done without any fear or favor. If you get yourself involved, I want to assure you that you will pay for it. We will not tolerate any act of indiscipline as well. We must be disciplined at all times, whether in or out of uniform.
The army and other branches of the armed forces have been kept very busy by the president's mandate to crush the insurgents by December. The visit of the army chief should go a long way towards rekindling the spirit of professionalism among the troops in counterinsurgency and other related operations.
Army authorities have warned residents of Mubi community in Adamawa State to desist from raising false alarm about impending Boko Haram attacks. A statement from the military spokesperson, Captain A. Badare, says those people crying wolf do so with the intention of creating confusion in order to loot or steal. He deployed the act as capable of causing commotion in the town, a situation the terrorists could exploit to attack the town. The statement warns that henceforth anyone caught spreading rumor of an imminent terrorist attack will be arrested and prosecuted. The military appealed to residents to pass any genuine information that will assist security forces in protecting lives and property. Muslim faithful were also advised to provide perimeters and access control measures within their mosques and places of worship in order to prevent insurgents gaining access for suicide attacks. Meanwhile, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, is in Lagos as the military continues to find ways to meet the December deadline to end insurgency. The Air Chief says part of his strategy is to ensure good life for his men. He's doing this by trying to provide decent accommodation, health care and welfare. Now, on the spate of recent bombings attack in the country, he describes them as a sign of frustration on the part of the Boko Haram insurgents, going on to say that the December deadline is achievable and that the military will do this without any mercenaries.
We are working seriously, but while fighting war, it is important to look at the welfare of your airmen. Welfare in this sense here, we are talking of accommodation, making sure that they are properly accommodated, because it's only when you have a properly accommodated person that you can give him rifle to go and look out for Boko Haram. And I believe if you give them we have highly committed personnel who are extremely patriotic, who are very hardworking, very courageous, and we are doing everything humanly possible to deal with the situation in the northeast and other security challenges within the country. The main battlefield, if you look at what was the situation on ground in the past, where you have about 15 vehicles moving in convoy, moving from one village to the other, killing people, is not happening now. These isolated cases of bombing are signs of frustration, actually, on the part of Boko Haram. What I can assure you, what I can tell you is that we are doing everything humanly possible to make sure that Nigerians are secured, and we are doing our job in such a way that no territory of this country will be under Boko Haram.
Contrary to insinuations that some ministerial nominees, including former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi, may not be confirmed, the All Progressives Congress in the Senate insisted it has a clout to ensure that they scale through. In an exclusive interview with Channels Television in Kaduna, Senate Majority Leader Ali Ndume said he was displeased with the tension being generated by the Rivers State PDP on Mr. Amechi's nomination as minister. He said since the APC has the majority in the Senate, it is not possible for the PDP to stop the confirmation of Amechi or other ministerial nominees.
In a government that is APC and the Senate that is with APC being majority, and the candidates so nominated is from the president and constitutional, I don't see how issues would arise from the confirmation, because it's simple logic. In this democracy, the majority will always have its way and the minority will have its say. Unfortunately, or let me say more fortunately, it is the PDP that is in the minority. We in the APC have 58 senators. And any candidate that comes before the Senate, who mostly are APC candidates, with the APC Senate, I don't see the possibility of having a candidate not confirmed, unless there are glaringly a constitutional issue that stands against that candidate. When you are talking about screening or Amechi or this, and those are not issues. This is because it's part of the heightened interest you people built of Amechi being opposed from his place. It's normal. There are some of our APC candidates that one candidate was withdrawn, not because he is not qualified, but because of politics.
In part two, after the break, analyzing the River State Governorship Tribunal judgment. I'll be joined in a moment by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Paul Ananaba. Please stay with us.